Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I'm Hamza Idris. There is a revelation by Zamfara State Governor Dawda Lawal on the seeming lack of political will by the federal government to end the rampaging banditry and terrorism in Zamfara, which he described as the hub and other affected states, has again reinforced concerns over insecurity and insincerity of purpose to deal with the challenge. The concern is coming on the heels of the debate on a bill seeking to illegally relocate pastoralists from their places of abode in some parts of the country under the guise of addressing the protracted farmer-herder conflict, which some security experts say would rather compound the fragile situation. And on the flip side is the nation's worsening economic situation, which exacerbates the level of destitution, hunger, unemployment as captured by a feature story told by the New York Times on the sidelines of Nigeria's celebration of 25 years of unbroken democratic rule. It is against this backdrop we'll be engaging with a member of the Northern Elders Forum and former executive secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, a professor of hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation, Professor Usman Yusuf. Welcome to the program, Professor.
Thank you,
and happy anniversary.
Thank you for having me.
But before the conversation, here is a tidbit. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, on Wednesday, ordered air officers commanding, branch chiefs, directors, as well as the entire senior leadership cadre of the Nigerian Air Force to redouble their efforts against the terrorists and bandits. Abubakar, who stated this at NAF headquarters in Abuja, when he met with them in commemorating his 1 year in office, also charged the commanders to intensify efforts against banditry and other criminalities in the country. The air chief, who was appointed June 19, 2023 by President Bola Tinubu, said, invariably, the situation of militants attacking various parts of the country remain a serious problem. And elsewhere in Kano, Justice Abdullahi Mohammed Liman will deliver a ruling on motion seeking to declare the Kano Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024 null and void, as moved by Aminu Babba Dan Agundi, the Sarki Dawaki Babba, through his counsel Chikao Solu Ojuku, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, tomorrow. The judge will also deliver a ruling on a motion for stay of proceedings filed by AG Wakil, counsel for the State Attorney General under Kano State Government. Dan Agundi is challenging the legality of the law, which repealed Kano Emirates Council Law 2019 that created emirates in the state, and subsequently the Ganduja administration appointed 5 first-class emirs of Kano, Bichi, Rano, Karai, and Gaya. The State House of Assembly had on May 23 passed the Emirates Council Repeal Bill, which assented to by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf same day. He announced the reinstatement of Muhammad Sanusi as emir. The new law sacked all the 5 emirs and all the appointments they made pursuant to the provisions of the previous law. And we'll now take a short break. When we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back, and this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Professor, once again, welcome to our studio.
Thank you for
Today
having
marked
me.
1 year since the appointment of the service chiefs, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, and even the Customs Controller. Yes, what is your take on their performance?
Well, I didn't know there is any celebration. To be honest, I mean, we are full of celebration, the 100, the 1 year and all that. We are where we are, to be honest.
You think maybe the low celebration, especially in the security side, of course they addressed the press at the defense headquarters, and then the Chief of Defense Staff also held a press conference. They reeled out, achievements. They said they have degraded Boko Haram, they have tackled bandits. Do you agree with them?
No, I don't. I mean, maybe Boko Haram banditry is Kano, Katsina, Zamfara, Niger, Kaduna, and even Plateau, Sokoto, Kebbi. You can't tell us you have degraded bandits. So please, 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 military chiefs, stop celebrating. And I said it before, military chiefs should not, this government should not take an early victory lap in the fight against banditry.
You think it is still with us?
Absolutely.
Are there evidences which you can really...
Katsina. Look, I'm from Katsina.
Yes.
How many have they killed recently in Kankara? The story is there. What of Niger? What of Sokoto? What of Zamfara? Zamfara is a daily thing, and our military, they have been killed all over the place. So for us in the northwest and north central, we are still burying our dead, and this is no time for celebration, please. And I took the liberty of making this graphics.
I thought when you were coming in with the bag, I thought this was actually, operation room.
No, this is the graphics. This is the reality. I don't know if your camera is catching it.
Yeah, of course it should.
We're still burying our dead. These are civilians, and these are the military. Every day, all across the northwest and the north central. So please, we don't want celebrations now.
Why do you think 1 year after, maybe they are yet to, let me say, get their, the ropes, to learn the ropes,
right,
of maybe changing the approach?
Look, I've said it again and again and again. Banditry is not a military problem.
Now this photo, is it Katsina?
Yeah, this was Niger.
Yes.
Niger.
Okay.
This is Niger, and the military. Our gallant men are being killed and ambushed all across the land.
Maybe were the ones killed, was it in the Niger Delta recently?
No, this is not the Niger Delta. But this is Niger.
It's a recurring decimal.
So the purpose of this is to juggle people's memory that we are still burying our dead, both in uniform and out of uniform. Our villagers are being killed every day. So it's no time for celebration, and now is not the time for celebration or taking an early victory lap. It isn't.
But it is 1 year now, as I said earlier. Where are they getting it wrong? Is it that they are yet to get the buy-in of communities?
No. So you see, I have said it. Banditry is not a military problem. There's a role for the military, but there's not going to be a military solution. I've said it again and again. To previous service chiefs, to the president before, to the NSA before. They were not listening. There is a role for the military, a definite role for the military.
That is the kinetic aspect.
There is. But I tell you, kinetic is about 10%. Non-kinetic is 90%. Let me give you an example of Zamfara. We went to all 9 states in this country, deep into the forest. 4 or 5 years ago, what we are seeing now is escalation of everything. By the time we went into the forest, all the places we went to, they would tell us. Their fight was not with the military, their fight was not with the government. Their fight then was with NSAK. But now, and we were warning, repeatedly we were warning security
agents. If you say NSAK,
they were local.
They are local vigilantes.
Yes, local vigilantes fighting between themselves. That was what was causing the local bloodshed. And they would tell us all across that their gripe was not with the military or with the federal government. And we were warning the federal government at that time that we don't want the marriage between Boko Haram and their elements, ISWAP, coming northwest. Now we see them everywhere. We see Dar es Salaam here in Niger, we see them in Kaduna, we see them in Zamfara.
Meaning they have encroached the northwest deeply.
Of course, but they cannot do that without the buy-in of the bandits. And that was what we were warning the government.
Because the bandits know the terrain.
Is their land. So what we were warning them is we should quickly make sure that we don't let this unholy alliance. I wrote a piece 3 years ago about this unholy alliance. This ambush and attack of that train, March 2021, was the alliance between Boko Haram and bandits. So we're here. Things are escalating. Now these bandits, they know how to do explosives. They have this marriage. They are attacking the military. They're attacking everybody. Instead of us to nip this thing in the bud, it's getting to a stage where bringing it back, wallahi, is going to be more difficult. And we're increasingly militarizing it. Every governor now has his own militia with guns. And I tell them, excellencies, these new excellencies, where the federal government, the president and commander-in-chief has been fighting this with all his military for the past 8-9 years. Air, Tucano, all of this for the last 8-9 years, and we are where you are, you think you are a vigilante with pump action guns will do that?
Maybe that's the only option they have.
No, they have a lot of options.
What are
I'll tell you Zamfara. I'll tell you Zamfara.
Yes.
Zamfara, when he goes to meet his people, he'll be screaming, no dialogue, no negotiation. They'll be screaming, right? And say, yeah. When he comes to Abuja, what does he do? He'll be lamenting. He doesn't have control of security forces. He cannot do anything. He's helpless. He goes to the president. Well, here you are, a governor of each of the states. You do not have control of even, what's the name? Yellow fever. You don't have control of the police, army, or civil defense.
Then do you blame the governors?
No, and you want to fight. Fight with what? The option you have, if I'm the governor, the option I have is dialogue. Dialogue, reduce the bloodshed.
Are the warring factions ready for dialogue? Because we are talking about herders and the locals.
It's not that. It's gone way past that. If you hear anybody talking about herders, farmers, he's like 5-6 years behind.
How do you mean? Then the fight is between who and who?
No, this now it is full-blown military civil wars between communities. And we've been saying it.
Over land?
No, over nonsense. Criminalities, outright criminalities. You have these bandits with their guns and their drugs. Who
are the bandits?
Come on. Hamza, we have been screaming our voices. The military know them, the governors know them, everybody know them and know where they are. We've been there.
Before now, maybe a year back, when we are discussing, every other person will say, yes, these are herders that have not been treated fairly. Oh. Their cattle has been, rustled and all that. Now they have taken arms.
Well, this has now morphed into criminality. Every little idiot now, you have an AK-47, you go and do all the nonsense. With one AK-47, you ransack this whole building. So we have lost control of this thing. And we think over militarizing it will take care of it.
Are you now saying the criminals in the bushes who have taken over farmlands is actually a configuration of people from different ethnicity?
No. Okay, the people that busted that train, they are a collection of people. You have Kanuris, you have Fulanis, you have Hausas, you have Ibiras, you have all everywhere. Yeah. So what I tell these new governors and what I tell the service chiefs is, even President Muhammadu Buhari, I'm a doctor. Without a diagnosis, you cannot have a treatment. And I hear the Zamfara state governor saying the same thing that President Muhammadu Buhari said 2-3 years ago. What did he say? At the palace of his eminence, that he does not understand banditry. President Muhammadu Buhari said that at the palace of his eminence, that of all the conflicts in this country, it is banditry he does not understand. The same language, the same this. And I had this Zamfara state governor saying the same thing 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I said,
he said that there is no political will from the center to fight banditry.
Before that. But he's saying he doesn't understand it too. Well, my wife asked me, we were sitting, this is the problem.
The governor?
No, lack of understanding. If you don't understand a problem, how can you solve it?
But the governors, let me generalize, have they asked the relevant questions? Have they spoken to the right people in order to understand?
Which governors? Oh, the governors now, they want to fight. This is exactly the same thing that President Muhammadu Buhari did. He wants to fight.
So they are building from where the last administration...
No, he's going to teach them the language they understand, let's fight. But fellow Nigerians, we have fought for 8-9, this is the 9th year. Where are we? Before President Muhammadu Buhari in Katsina, you are from Katsina, in Katsina, we never knew what IDPs are. Before President Muhammadu Buhari came. By the time President Muhammadu Buhari came, as at today, 22 out of 34 local governments in Katsina, that's 65% of Katsina, under siege. Borno state is safer and more secure than Katsina.
As we speak?
As we speak, today.
Borno is
Borno is more secure and safer than Katsina.
What was the magic wand that led to where Borno is now?
No, President Muhammad Buhari, when he came, all his concentration was, all his service chiefs, you remember, he asked them to deploy back to Maiduguri. And in 3 months, things quietened down. But they took their feet off the brake, off the accelerator.
And it continued.
No, they took their eyes off other security challenges in this country.
We are deep into today's conversation because it is about the insecurity in the country.
Yeah.
So from the tidbit, we have started the conversation really. Some people are saying Borno's case is actually an enigma when you look at how things metamorphosed now. And beyond the kinetic, probably the governor is doing something different.
Yeah, okay. You will never hear me talk about Boko Haram because, to be honest, I don't understand it. There are people a lot more eloquent, a lot more knowledgeable, a lot more qualified to speak about Boko Haram.
No, talking about good governance.
Good. No, and what he's doing, about 160,000, and even the former CDS said over 160,000 Boko Haram and their families, they have surrendered. They did not surrender before because he went and killed them. They surrendered back into the society, and that's when they are the same people.
Because the society was ready to accept them.
So you have to find other avenues. And this is what I tell all the governors, especially these ones that are creating these militias. Let's look since they came over the last year. The number of deaths before they came and the number of deaths now. Why?
We brought, Dr. Kabiru Adamu here.
I remember I was there. The simple reason is you are creating this militia and inflaming the whole thing.
Are you saying that having the vigilantes, they gave them different names. Yeah. Zamfara, it has its name for the people. Katsina, Niger, Sokoto, they all have different names for them. If you have your way, you will advise them to disband them? And
let me ask you this.
Okay.
Is it the job of the governor to fight, to buy armored personnel carriers and go and fight?
Yes, because like what Zamfara governor, I asked you this. Yeah. He said that there is no political will. I'm quoting him.
Good.
From the center to fight bandit.
Good.
And he said banditry can be eradicated in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Maximum, if the federal government is serious.
No.
Do you agree with him?
Absolutely nonsense. He's absolutely nonsense. And I'll tell you why, because he doesn't understand a thing. He is saying it can be eradicated in 2 weeks if you go and fight. And I tell him, I have said it again and again and again, you can have 1 million Tucano jets, you cannot solve this problem. This is not a military problem and it can never be won. I've never been shot. It can never be won on the battlefield. Never. Conflicts like this have never been won on the battlefield. If you say that, you come from wherever you come, you say in 2 weeks, okay, if he says in 2 weeks, we can eradicate all of this.
If there is political way.
Okay, then why don't you ask yourself? If I'm the president, I'll ask myself, Nigeria fought a civil war for 30 months. 30 months. With all the guns, with all the help from everywhere, tanks and lasted 30 months. We've been fighting this banditry for 9 years. Why? Why?
But we fought Boko Haram also for nearly 15 years. No,
15 years. So you ask, if I'm the president, this is what I will ask. I will ask all my military chiefs.
Like today, to mark their anniversary, maybe you should have held a meeting
even before I appoint them. We fought the civil war for 30 months. Why are we still fighting Boko Haram 15 months? Why are you not dominating the shores of Lake Chad or Sambisa Forest? Why is it taking 15 years? And why are we still fighting banditry 9 years? Who are bandits? They don't have tanks. We saw them.
Do you see?
No, let me finish. Okay. They don't have tanks. They don't have drones. They don't have this. They are on a motorcycle with their AK-47, some of them fabricated. You couldn't dominate them for,
but it's guerrilla war.
For 9 years. So you couldn't dominate them for 9 years, and a governor coming with his vigilante. Wallahi, what we need are elders to come in and say, we need to stop this bloodshed. We can stop this, but not through the military. There is a role for the military, and it will not be more than 10-20%. The rest is we all must come in and take care of this thing. Everybody must get involved. All these governors asking to fight, you will fight till kingdom come. This is not the first time. We had a governor once in a while. We had a governor that was making this kind of noise.
There will be Northwest Security Summit, supported by UNDP. And all the governors, they will all converge on Katsina, most likely next week. Do you think it will make a difference? Because they are bringing experts, people like you.
No, experts from where? They went all the way. 10 of them went all the way to America for 3 days. 10 northern governors went all the way to America for 3 days, sat down. What were they regurgitating intelligence to them? Oh, we are this, we are this, we are this. They have never sat down in Nigeria.
Now they want to sit in Katsina.
Do you need UN to do that for you? Can't you sit down and do this yourself?
Most likely for the technical aspect, maybe to understand, to get some
what technical
security.
What technical aspect? Let me tell you.
They have more intelligence. We have to be frank, Prof.
Problems are local.
Certainly.
Solutions must be found locally.
And that is
not in Abuja, no. Not in Abuja. Big plans from Abuja. We've had big plans from Abuja for the past 8-9 years. All these Tucanos, where are Tucanos? Much advertised Tucanos are going to solve these problems. Where are they today?
That's why I'm asking whether it is a positive move. Now that they are moving to Katsina, the 7 governors.
Every governor, the banditry in Katsina, different from the banditry in Zamfara, that of Sokoto, that of Niger, that of Kaduna, they are different. The players are different.
So you think that...
So you need to understand, every governor needs to understand his terrain, what is causing the problems, who are the major players, who are their interlocutors, who can you get to, who can you reach out to. No, they are running here or they are running to Washington, D.C. If you don't understand locally, the UN will come and ask you, you are the one going to be telling them all the information. Why are you having to tell them when you don't know... what is causing the problem in Katsina is entirely who are the actors in Katsina, who are the actors in Zamfara, where are they? They never move. These guys are here. They don't run away. They are here.
They exchange captives and all that.
They have been here. They don't move. So it's not that you this guy was here, he moved to that, he moved to that. No, they are where they are, and they know. The governors know.
But remember, some of them who fled from Sokoto, they were neutralized in Niger.
Who neutralized them?
The military.
Let's move on.
Okay. I don't want us to move on without finding a solution.
No, let them.
To this.
They know. Wallahi, they know what the solutions are. The United Nations.
Is it the war economy that is actually
just fueling this and about egos and not understanding it? You don't have a diagnosis. How can you write a prescription?
So now, for instance, the Zamfara governor who took the blame to the doorstep of the federal government. Are you exonerating the federal government from this? Since they don't have the powers
it is the primary responsibility for security is the government and that of the federal government. But here you are in Zamfara. You are fighting with your Minister of State Defense. So if you don't have
synergy. But whose fault? Will you now...
Is the egos of this young man.
Then who will solve the problem? Northern Elder Sultan of Sokoto?
No, I've said it again and again and again and again. What is the president doing?
Many believe that Tinubu's attention is on the economy.
No, he's never been interested. And I said it honestly. I said, okay, all these vigilantes they have all over the place. You think the military are applauding them? They're happy with them?
If they are happy with them, why
no, I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. You think they're applauding? When they inaugurated all these vigilantes, did you see the NSC there? Did you see the ministers of defense there? Did you see any military head there or police head there?
Maybe they didn't invite them.
No, come on.
And if they didn't invite them, but it's a matter, if we believe that it is an exclusive list, meaning the federal government is actually, relegating its responsibility to another layer.
Hamza,
yes,
we've been in this for forever.
Yes.
It's so the center is just watching the state governors.
And this brings me to this question:
the center is just watching,
democracy.
No, the center,
1 year, after.
No, the center is just watching the state governors having vigilantes, and all we are seeing is exacerbation.
Is the center helpless?
Of bloodshed.
Is the center helpless?
It's making itself helpless because the center has power.
And, but it is not exuding the power.
It has power.
Is it deliberate? Because somehow there is this theory that it's actually deliberate to continue degrading the northern economy, you know, while many things, projects, economic advancement and all that going on in the south.
Look, I have said it again and again. The military cannot solve our problems.
Is it the police that will
I will
solve?
tell you, no.
Okay.
The military cannot solve our problem because it's not the military problem. The role of the military is to provide an enabling environment for dialogue to happen.
Well, you are the secretary of the Chief of Defense Staff Committee during Irabo.
Yeah.
Is it that the new crop of the military leadership, they have deviated from?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I haven't met any one of them. I honestly don't know.
Are you saying that your committee is no longer there?
Yeah,
it's not working?
The committee was then. But what I'm saying is that the military is essentially doing internal policing.
Which is not their responsibility.
It's not. You
but
tell me. Let me ask you.
In our story today, I'm not trying to obstruct you. Our lead story in the paper today is the infight between the police and the Police Service Commission. Since 2018, when Buhari said they should recruit 10,000 every year, they only succeeded in recruiting 20,000. We ought to have had like 60,000 recruits by now.
Yeah.
So if police could not even put its house in order, do you think the military should remain aloof so that bandits will take over the country?
So tell me, why wasn't the police able to take care of its problem? Because there was a weak president that allowed this nonsense. You are the president and commander-in-chief, and Police Service Commission is going to court with somebody. Call them, knockheads, fire whoever you need to fire. I want this done now. To be done. You are an executive president, for crying out loud. President Muhammad Buhari just sat down and let them do all this nonsense.
We thought Tinubu will be different.
No. Whatever he's doing now, he's not doing anything differently.
So if I ask you to assess his performance in the last 1 year, Tinubu? Is it a larger matter?
No. The reason I'm saying is that I've talked about this, then I'm really fed up.
We are still in the spirit of a Democracy Day celebration.
They wanted to celebrate their 1 year anniversary of the regime.
He did his last week. The military are doing theirs.
They wanted
today
to celebrate their 1 year, but there was honestly nothing to celebrate.
How do you mean?
Because the 1 year, what it has done for us, and I've said it again and again, I've written, all we've seen is a government of deception, destitution, and hopelessness. Their renewed hope agenda has turned into nothing but made people hopeless in this country, right? So they latched on to what is the next thing they can celebrate? Oh, Democracy Day, June 12th. Or they make a big hoopla and they want to sanitize history and give the impression to those who do not know. When I came back from the United States, what I realized that we don't teach history to our children. So anybody who is, May 12th was 31 years ago. Anybody who is less than 30 from their celebration would think democracy in Nigeria started that time.
Yeah, June 12th.
Yeah, but this is
1993.
No, but this is sanitizing history, for goodness sake.
It's not the truth.
Look, we lost a prime minister. We lost premiers. We lost several military officers. We went to school with many of their children. The first prime minister of this country in our republic.
Tafawa Balewa.
Yes. We lost Sadana, we lost Abogo Largema, we lost Memalari, we lost Kuru Muhammad. We went to school with many of their children. That was democracy. That was truncated by the military. And the first executive president in this country, President Shagari, was overthrown by the military. And Umaru Dikko was put in a crate in London to be brought back here by the military. Don't tell us that democracy in Nigeria started June 12th.
But who do you blame? Is it Tinubu?
No. what we are saying, and it's just like what Governor Lamido put it. Governor Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa, said it. June 12 was a national, cohesive voice, a Nigerian voice. Abiola beat late Bashir Tofa from Kano. That was the first time a Southerner won an election, fair and square. And he said, the Nadeko element only took the story after that. He said, they fought for Abiola to win that election all over this country. And it is Nigerians from all over, from Abia to Zamfara, that voted for him. So for you to sanitize this and just bring the names of a few people and say they are this, is doing disservice to Nigerians, is doing disservice to the democracy in Nigeria. People have died.
So you believe that
so that was, he was just looking,
really
no, he was just looking
well crafted.
No, he was just looking for something.
Okay, I will ask you more questions on this, Prof, but we'll go on a short break. Yes, viewers, don't go far. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. If you are just joining, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. We still have Professor Yusuf in the studio. We are discussing ending insecurity and state of the nation. You are questioning the Democracy Day celebration before we went on break. But many believe that it is not Tinubu who said June 12 should be Democracy Day. Of course, transition was, May 29. It was during the Buhari era. So will you now come and crucify Tinubu for celebrating the people he believed were the champions of June 12?
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, this is an APC thing, and he's APC.
Okay.
President Buhari changed it to June 12 just to pander to a certain constituency. That's all I'm saying. Democracy in Nigeria, we've seen a lot of turbulence, we've seen a lot of death, we went to civil war for democracy. So don't sanitize history and give impression to the young people less than 30 that democracy in Nigeria started only 31 years. Many have been killed, many have died, millions have been killed in the fight for democracy, in the civil war. So let's honor them and let's not just pick a few and sanitize history.
The names he mentioned, not quite a number from the north. Do you think it's deliberate?
I don't know. I say this is the Nadeko agenda, and this is what Governor Sule Lamido is saying. And if you trivialize the significance of that the struggle of June 12, which was in Nadekos. June 12 was a national thing. People were fed up with the military. People campaigned for late Abiola all over. And the campaign showed that he defeated somebody from Kano, the state with the largest population in the north. People voted for him. So let nobody just take it and trivialize it or sectionalize it or ethnicize it, or so you honestly trivialize it. It was bigger than what he was celebrating. It really was. And he should know better. I mean, as a president, you should elevate yourself. Allow them the Nadeko guys to go and celebrate. People have died. I'm from Katsina, Eradua.
Will you call yourself as champions of democracy, or Sule Lamido? Do you think you should, forward himself as those who fought for the actualization of even the? No,
out here people don't. It's not celebration. Is not ours. Let what you do, let what you did in the past speak for you, instead of coming and celebrate. Oh, I did this, I did this, I did this. Please, it's not in us to be celebrating this, celebrating this. They needed something to celebrate because 1 year anniversary of their ascension into office, there was nothing to celebrate. So they grab onto the June 12th and just keep celebrating. Let's move on. We have better things to do. These guys are not are putting Nigeria in a ditch.
Okay, Bayo Onanuga decided heavily on New York Times following their article that Nigerians are worse off in the last 1 year. Where do you belong?
Hamza, where do I belong? What kind of question is this?
Yes.
Ask anybody. Ask anybody in this country, are they better off today than they were on May 28th, 2023? If you're not in government, and even the government way up there, everybody. Inflation today is at 40.66. Food inflation, 40.66. We just came back from home. Everybody back in the hinterland, there is hunger in the land. Been saying it again and again. You've written editorial, you've published. There is hunger in the land all across this country from Abia to Zamfara. What answers do our governors have? Oh, palliatives. All over. Well, in 3 months, you published it, you reported it. In 3 months, 30 governors in this country spent over 980 billion on their creature comfort when our people are dying back home. I took the liberty of asking my staff to do this. This is it.
Malnutrition?
This is malnutrition, this is marasmus. I have been saying, Daily Trust, you've been saying, all newspapers have been saying there is hunger in the land. This is what we are seeing in our hospitals. This is for mothers that can take their children to hospital. There are millions that are home, they cannot go to hospital. And it is not me alone. Medicine Sans Frontier, Doctors Without Borders raised this alarm. That the malnutrition in northern Nigeria they are seeing over the last couple of months is alarming. They are raising the alarm that there is severe malnutrition in the north. They are feeding centers, they are having to treat patients on the floor. We see this all over pediatric hospitals. Severe marasmus as you would see in Sudan, as you would see in Yemen, as you see in Gaza Strip or Afghanistan. This is in Nigeria, the land of plenty, where the vice president built a house. They built a house of 21 billion for the vice president, where all of them are buying SUVs. Our children are malnourished. This is in the land of plenty. This is not, we are not at war and there is no drought. For goodness sake, I did this to prick the conscience of our people. How in good conscience can we allow this to happen in Nigeria when our leaders are living up? The president, all his cabinet, the members of the National Assembly and the governors, they do not show they care. Where are our governors in the north? They are all in Saudi Arabia telling God what I don't know. Our children, fellow Nigerians, do not close your eyes. This is where we are. Severe malnutrition in our children. And in pediatrics, we say the child is the barometer of the family. From the child, you can tell. You can tell.
So if the child is malnourished, definitely his mother is also...
The family. Many fathers...
Where are we getting it wrong, Professor? Because subsidy has been removed, more money to subnationals. So where is actually the problem? Because
they do not care. The governors do not care. They think they answer all the money they are getting excess. What do they do with it? They give grains, cups of rice, cups of grains to the parents. Whereas the children are inside the house hungry. Hungry. This is Nigeria. This is not Sudan. This is not Afghanistan. This is not Yemen.
So who will talk to them?
Talk to whom?
The governors, the government chairman, the president?
You and I, we are talking. They do not know this because they don't want to know. The president is in South Africa. Does the president know our children are marasmics like you see in war-torn countries? Do the governors care? They're all in Saudi Arabia doing God what I do not know. Where are the members of National Assembly? They don't go home. They get billions to buy SUVs.
Of course, the members of the National Assembly, they are about to pass into law the ban on open grazing. I mentioned this in the introductory part of the program, and I will have to ask you, what is your take on this bill to actually relocate farmers, I mean herders to...
So you see, what I see, and people need to open their eyes, especially in the north. They are throwing a lot of distractions in the north to distract people from their sufferings.
Okay, you think this...
Absolutely, this is a distraction, a cruel distraction too. Like changing the national anthem, talk about it, like all these wars, fights, bandits fighting, Fulanis fighting everybody, or Boko Haram, to distract us. Even what you see in Kano, even the tussle, the Emir's chief tussle. The
which you actually mentioned. I wanted to ask it as my last question.
The timing is suspect. It's just to distract Nigerians from their daily sufferings. We have this, and we're talking about celebrating a year, service chiefs celebrating a year, or the emirs are fighting themselves. We have this, nobody's talking about this. This is what we should be talking about in mosques, in churches, in palaces, in the parliaments, everywhere, in government houses, in the villa. How did we get here? And this is the beginning. Usually the peak season of malnutrition in this country is around July and August. When the food that was harvested before is finished, the next one hasn't come. Medicine Sans Frontier, Doctors Without Borders is saying, and has raised alarm, many more children are dying because of malnutrition in the north. And our governors are going around in big black SUVs. They are not going to tell Mr. President they are not doing the right thing. The president say, oh, release food from silos to vulnerable Nigerians.
Do we have the food in the silos?
February,
Do we have
the silos are empty.
So
and
it's deception.
This is all part of the deception. I've said it before, and I've written. You cannot run a country on deception. For goodness sake, our children are dying, and we're here deceiving ourselves, talking nonsense and drinking tea in Abuja.
As I ask the parliamentarians, they are about passing this law. Is it a recipe for another round of misunderstanding in the country? And what do you think should be done?
So where did the bill come? The person who passed the bill is from Benue. And this is just a replica of their anti-grazing bill in Benue. And what happened when Samuel Autumn passed it? There was bloodshed in the Benue. Benue has been the home of Fulanis grazing for generations and living together with thieves, with Idomas, with other things. For generations, long before these governors and these senators. Why do you want to bring this again? You want to inflame, and the federal government, and if you read the excerpt of the bill, you say, ranches should be built in states of the pastoralists, and in those states who do not have pastoralists as citizens, it should not be imposed on them. So we are saying a citizen does not have a right to go everywhere. So we need maturity, we need leadership, we need our representatives to represent us.
That is the question I wanted.
We need our representatives to represent us.
Do you blame him to have his way? This bill has passed through separately.
And I'm telling the president and all the national security team, this will inflame national security in this country, just like it did in Benue. Just like it did in Benue. Somebody with sense needs to step in. For goodness sake, why is everybody? Like there is no adult. You just allow children to keep doing what they are doing. Everybody can just do what he's doing, inflame this thing. The president is all there, his eyes is off this thing, or you're buying Tucano jets when you can prevent things. For goodness sake. We have representatives. We have representatives in the assembly. Anybody can bring a bill. I can go and bring a bill and say, kill everybody, kill everybody. Well, that's my bill. But there are people we send to represent us, and we're watching them. They need to represent us. They need to represent us.
But they have to go with a solution. If you want to counter you know, an opinion. You have to bring a superior argument.
Look, with
maybe
this,
they have lost ideas.
No, look at this. With this, we're talking about ranching. For goodness sake.
Are you saying the cattle should be allowed to continue ruling?
No, our priorities are messed up.
Okay.
This is a national security. This is an urgency. This is an emergency. Medicine Sans Frontier, Doctors Without Borders is telling us this is an emergency. We are talking nonsense here in Abuja after they've gotten their SUVs.
Prof, maybe the final question I will ask, which you should answer in 1 minute. Partly, maybe responsible for this is the malnutrition among even civil servants, because what they earn trickles down everywhere. What will you say on the...
Good. So they said, if you look at this, and I was reading it from your publication, about 5.3 million Nigerian workers will benefit from this minimum wage. The last time it was increased was 2019 to 30,000. At that time, inflation was just 11-12%. Today, inflation is 33.6. 30,000 naira cannot buy you a bag of rice. So I wonder how workers honestly live. And these workers we have in this country, the 5.2 million, they carry those that are not working on their back. You go to Katsina, if they delay salary for a month, you think the whole town they're mourning.
So government should be serious, maybe in summary. Yeah.
Look, they must be serious and give workers a living wage. 60,000 is not a living wage. 60,000 is not a living wage.
What will you recommend?
You give them 60,000, it cannot even buy you rice. Now, when patients come to us, doctors like this, we'll say go and eat protein, but poor people, we don't ask them to eat meat, fish, and all that. No. What is common man's protein? Common man's protein is beans.
And it's very expensive.
Akara and moi moi. How much is a bag of beans? Over 100,000.
Prof,
this is where we are.
Yeah, very sad, but I hope something will happen. Thank you very much, Professor Usman Yusuf, former Executive Secretary, National Health Insurance Scheme, member of the Northern Elders Forum, for your informed perspective on these existential problems. We hope to have you some other time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And that's a wrap on today's package. We sincerely hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics Live, airing every weekday, and also our special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues. Once again, I'm Hamza Idris. Thank you for being with us. Bye-bye for now.